Hello children, I am Mrs. Radha Ketkar from DES Secondary School, Pune. Today we are going to start with Maths 2 Lesson 3 Circle. Last year you have studied about certain properties of the circle, certain terms which are related with circle. So let us have a quick revision and then we will continue. So you can center is such a point that this is always equidistant from any point on the circle. Okay, when we talk about the radius, we know that it is the distance between the center and any point on the circle, right? If we double the radius, we get the diameter. So you can observe the diameter here, that it also passes through the center. So this is a chord. So you can see endpoints are on the circle and it passes through the center of the circle. Okay, so with this little bit of knowledge, let us go further and let us learn different theorems based on circle. So the first concept of congruent circles, circles with same radii are known as congruent circles. So observe two circles, they are congruent to one another, they can easily overlap with one another exactly. Then second one, concentric circles, these circles have common center. Third one, intersecting circles, circles with two common points. Right? You can observe two common points. So these are intersecting circles. This also you have done last year. So let us solve one example just to revise the concept. Diameter of a circle is 20 centimeter. DE is given as 16 centimeter. That is the chord which is given as 16 centimeter. Then we have to find out CF, which is the perpendicular from the center on the chord. Now we know the perpendicular drawn from the center of the circle to the chord will always bisect the chord. That means it will divide it into two equal parts. So if you consider triangle CFD, angle CFD is 90 because we know that it is a perpendicular. So that's why CD square will be equal to DF square plus CF square. Right? Substitute the values which are known. CD will be 10 because we know diameter is 20. So half of it 10 equal to 8 square plus CF square. 100 minus 64 gives us 36. That is nothing but CF square. Find out the square root to get the value of CF, that is 6 centimeter. Take the next one. Diameter of a circle is 20 centimeter. DE is given as 8 centimeter. Okay, and here the chord is not known. So we have to find out the length of the chord CF. Okay, again use the same property. The perpendicular which is drawn from the center of the circle will bisect the chord. So consider triangle DEC. Angle DEC is 90. We know it is perpendicular. DC square will be equal to DE square plus CE square using Pythagoras theorem. Substitute the values. DC we know it is 10. Substitute 10 square is equal to 8 square, that is 64 plus CE square. So 100 minus 64, that gives you 36. CE square is 36, CE is 6, CF will be 12. Okay, double of it because we know it bisects the chord. So CE will be half of CF. Take the next one. AB is the diameter. M is the center of the circle. M is the center of the circle. MS is perpendicular to AD. This is given. MT is perpendicular to AC. AB is the bisector of angle DAC. So that's why you can see two same signs are shown to show that it is angle bisector. And we have to prove that chord AD and chord AC are congruent. Okay, check SM is perpendicular to AD. This is given. MT perpendicular to AC, again the reason is given. So we also know angle DAB and angle CAB, they are congruent because angle bisector is already mentioned. Segment AS congruent to segment SD. Perpendicular from the center will bisect the chord. Okay, and AT will be equal to TC. Okay, so we are using the same property. So consider two triangles which are formed, triangle ASM and triangle ATM. Right, side SM congruent to side MT. Okay, point on the bisector is always equidistant from its arms. Okay, here you can see DAC is the angle. Then we are having the angle bisector which is starting from point A, right? And two angles which are formed, they are congruent angles because it is angle bisector. In this case, MS and MT are going to be congruent because the perpendicular distance of these arms from the angle bisector is always same. Angle ASM congruent to angle ATM 90, this is given to us. Side AM congruent to side AM, that is common side. Okay, so that's why we can say these two triangles ASM and triangle ATM, they are congruent to one another by hypotenuse side test. What do we need for this particular congruence? We need hypotenuse to be congruent and one side to be congruent in a right angle triangle or in two right angle triangles. So side AS congruent to side AT. Okay, because they are the corresponding sides of the congruent triangles. So obviously 2 times AS will be equal to 2 times AT. And what is 2 times AS? That is nothing but AD. And what is 2 times AT? That is nothing but AC. Okay, so using our earlier statements, we can prove that AD is equal to AC. Circles through one given point. How many circles we can draw from one given point in the plane? So we can draw infinite number of circles which are passing through one point which is given to us. So here we are considering point P. Through this point P, let's see, this is the second circle, third circle, fourth circle, and so on. You can have many more, right? So we can have multiple circles or infinite circles passing through given one point. Check the next one, circles through two given points. Okay, how many circles we can draw when the points are mentioned? 2 points are mentioned in a plane. Here also we can draw infinite number of circles which are passing through two given points. Let's see how. So here we can see point P and Q is mentioned. You can see PQ we have joined here and we are drawing a perpendicular bisector there. You can see on both the sides of that central point, there is a mark shown which shows that both the parts of that segment are congruent. Okay, and also it is perpendicular to PQ. So we are drawing a perpendicular bisector to PQ. We know the property that any point on the perpendicular bisector of a segment is always equidistant from the endpoints of the segment. So we can see here, when we have drawn this perpendicular bisector, you take any point on it and you try to join it with the endpoints. Always you will find that these two distances are equal. Okay, you can try out for any point which is there on this particular perpendicular bisector. So this is the property which we are going to make use of. Okay, so you can see, and you can continue and you can have multiple such circles which can be drawn from the given 2 points. Okay, and for the construction you are going to draw the perpendicular bisector, okay, for the segment joining the points which are given here PQ. Now the next one, circles through 3 given points. Okay, now we are talking about non-collinear points here. If we talk about such points, one and only one circle can be drawn. Okay, so let us see how. The 3 points, so we are connecting them to form a triangle. You are going to construct perpendicular bisector for the sides of that triangle. Do it for the other side also so that you get point of intersection. Okay, mark it as the center and you can draw a circle which is going to touch all 3 vertices. Okay, that means the points which are under consideration. So this is how we can construct that circle, and you can see for 3 non-collinear points we will be having one and only one circle passing through all 3 points. So it is, the center is labeled as C, that is nothing but the circumcenter. And such a circle is known as circumcircle, which is going to touch all the vertices of that imaginary triangle. So this is done using GeoGebra. You can also try it. To summarize what we have learned, infinite circles can be drawn through a given point. Infinite circles can pass through two given points. One and only one circle can be drawn from three non-collinear points. Okay, and the fourth point, no circle can be drawn from three collinear points. What are the different concepts related to circle? Few of them we have already learned, few we are going to learn now. Radius, as I said, if you consider the center of the circle, from that point, if you measure the distance of any point which is there on the circle, it will be called as radius. Okay, diameter, you know, if you double the radius, you get the length of the diameter, right? So it is a chord, longest chord you can say, which is going to pass through the center of the circle. Okay, so that is the largest chord. Then what is chord? Chord means you join any 2 points on the circle and you get a chord. So chord is nothing but a segment, you can see. Here in this figure you can see secant, it is nothing but a line, okay, and it is going to pass through 2 points on that circle, so that is secant. And if you consider the segment part of it, here you can see, okay, and these two endpoints are on the circle, then you can call it as a chord. So here also you can see we have shown a chord over here, right? And longest chord is always the diameter. So secant is a line and chord, you can say it is a segment. Last one you can see tangent. Tangent is going to touch the circle in one point. Okay, so here you can see tangent is shown and it is always perpendicular to the radius at that particular point of contact. So you can see for a tangent, this is the point of contact. Okay, and it is always perpendicular to the radius. So you can see in the animation, this is a secant, and when it reaches the bottommost point, it becomes a tangent because that is touching the circle just in one point. Secant will have 2 points common with the circle and tangent will have just 1 point common. The next animation shows you that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent at the given point, right? The angle is 90 degrees. Let us start with tangent theorem. A tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius at that point. So which are the things given? Here line M is a tangent to the circle. The center of the circle is P. Point of contact is R. We have to prove that line M is perpendicular to PR. So this will be proved in indirect manner. So that is why it is known as indirect proof. How do we write indirect proof? Here we are going to assume certain things and then at the end we are going to prove that our assumption was wrong. Okay, so that is the indirect way of proving a statement. So let us see how to do it. So we are going to assume here that line M is not perpendicular to PR. Okay, so that is our assumption. So PR is not perpendicular to that tangent. That is what is our assumption. So we are going to consider some other point S. Okay, if PR is not perpendicular to M, then there can be some other point or there must be some other point like point S, which is giving us the statement that line M at point S, okay, we are having a perpendicular segment or it is perpendicular to the radius. Okay, so consider some point S such that PS perpendicular to line M, and we are going to take point Q such that Q dash S dash R, that means these three are collinear points, and QS and SR are congruent to one another. So here we can see that according to our assumption, S is some point which is giving us this perpendicular segment, that is PS perpendicular to line M. Okay, according to our construction, this QS and SR, they are congruent. Okay, now consider the two triangles which are formed here. One triangle is triangle PSQ and another triangle is triangle PSR. Okay, check the sides. SR and QS, they are congruent because we have constructed them in such a manner. Okay, then angle PSR and angle PSQ, we can see that according to our construction, that is 90 degrees. Then side PS is equal to side PS, that is nothing but a common side. So we can say these two triangles, this triangle and this triangle, they are congruent to one another by side angle side test. Okay, so once you have the congruence, we can go for the correspondence. So we can say now PQ is same as PR, or PQ and PR have the same length, right? But we know that PR is the radius. If PR is the radius, then obviously PQ also should be the radius, right? So that means point Q also lies on the circle, right? So if one point is lying on the circle, for the similar distance, the other point also should lie on the circle. That means line M intersects the circle in 2 points, Q and R. Okay, so this is going to contradict with the definition of a tangent. Tangent has only one common point with the circle. Okay, so that's why we are having a contradiction, and we are going to prove that our own statement was wrong. So it contradicts with the definition of a tangent, and that's why our assumption that line M is not perpendicular to the radius PR is wrong. Then what should be correct? Then line M should be perpendicular to radius PR. Converse of tangent theorem, a line perpendicular to a radius at its point on the circle is a tangent to the circle. So what is given to us? P is the center of the circle, PR is the radius, okay, and then line T is perpendicular to PR at point R. We have to prove that line T is a tangent to the circle. Consider the triangle PRS. PR is perpendicular to line T. Angle PRS is 90. Okay. Now here PS will be greater than PR. You can see because in that right angle triangle, PS is the hypotenuse. So, and we know that hypotenuse is the greatest side, right? So PS is greater than PR. We know that PR is the radius of the circle. Okay. Now as PS is greater than PR, PS cannot be the radius. That means if it is not the circle, it is giving us distance which is more than the radius. That means S will not lie on the circle. It should be some point outside the circle, right? So except point R, there is no point on line T which lies on the circle, right? So that means line T has one and only one point common. So this statement, one and only one point. So we talk about the uniqueness, right? One and only one point common with the given circle. Okay, so that's why we can say that line T is a tangent to the circle. Okay, so this was converse of tangent theorem. So let's see how we can draw tangents to the given circles, right? So if we talk about one point P on the circle, we can draw one tangent which is passing through the given point. Now if we have some external point, here you can see we are having point Q, and from point Q I have to draw the tangents to the given circle. So you can have QR and you can have QS. Okay, so that is you can say we are having two tangents which can be drawn in such a case when we are having some external point under consideration. Okay, tangents for externally touching circles. You can see we are going to discuss it in detail later on, but you can just observe the figure. We can draw three different tangents there. And tangents for non-touching circles. Okay, so how many common tangents they can have? So 4 tangents can be drawn in such a manner. Let us start with the next theorem, tangent segment theorem. Look at the statement. Tangent segments drawn from an external point to a circle are congruent. Now you can see which is the point which is outside the circle and from which we are going to draw the tangents. So for the given figure, point is Q. Okay, so you can see QR and QS are the tangents drawn. Okay, and what do you mean by tangent segments? If you consider this point Q and point which is common for a tangent and circle, so that is point R. So distance between Q and R, or distance QR, is nothing but the tangent segment. Similarly, for the other tangent QS, you can see point Q and point which is common for a tangent and a circle, that is point S. So distance between Q and S, that is nothing but the tangent segment. Okay, so what we have to prove? Tangent segments drawn from an external point to a circle are congruent. That means QR and QS are congruent. So look at the given part. QR and QS are the tangents drawn from point Q to the circle with center B. And what we have to prove? QR is congruent to QS. So let us consider the two triangles. You can see we can join BR so that we get one triangle. Join BS, you get another triangle. You can see 90 degrees signs shown on both the sides there at point R and at point S, because we know tangent and radius, they are perpendicular to one another. So you can see two triangles formed. So let us consider those two triangles, triangle BRQ and triangle BSQ. Okay, so side BQ congruent to side BQ, common side. Then angle BRQ and angle BSQ both are 90 degrees using tangent theorem, which we have done earlier. Right, side BR congruent to BS. Okay, because they are radii of the same circle. You can see BR and BS both are radii. That's why triangle BRQ and triangle BSQ, they are congruent to one another by hypotenuse side test. What is hypotenuse side test? You must have a right angle triangle. Hypotenuse of both the triangles should be congruent and one side should be congruent to corresponding side. So these conditions are fulfilled. So that's why these two triangles are congruent. And that's why we can say QR is congruent to QS, because they are the corresponding sides of congruent triangles. So QR is equal to QS. So let us remember all the important points. Tangent theorem. The tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the given point of contact. A line perpendicular to a radius at a point of on the circle is a tangent to the circle. And tangent segments drawn from the external point to a circle are always congruent. So let us solve one example. In the figure, you can observe it. O is the center of the circle. RM and RN are tangent segments. You can observe OR is given as 12. Radius is given as 6. And we have to find out few things from the given information. So let us see, find the length of each tangent segment. So consider two triangles which are formed, triangle OMR and triangle ONR. Okay, side OM is equal to side ON, radii of the same circle. Angle OMR and angle ONR 90 degrees, right? Because we know that these are tangent segments, so they will be perpendicular to the radius. Side OR congruent to side OR, common side, and that's why triangle OMR and triangle ONR will be congruent by hypotenuse side test. So in triangle OMR, angle OMR is 90, so we can apply Pythagoras theorem. Just substitute the values. 12 square is equal to 6 square plus MR square. Okay, 144 minus 36, that gives you 108. So MR equal to NR, because they are the congruent segments, is equal to 6 root 3. So we have simplified that number under root 108. That gives you simplified number as 6 root 3. So tangent segments from external point are congruent. So both MR and NR are going to be 6 root 3. Okay, so the first part is done. Check the next one. In triangle OMR, you can observe OM is equal to half of OR, because we can see the relation 12 and 6. Okay, so if you make half of 12, you get 6, right? And MR is equal to root 3 upon 2 times hypotenuse. Okay, so that is 6 root 3 that we have done before. So if you observe these numbers, you can relate that triangle OMR is going to be 30, 60, 90 type of triangle, right? Because side opposite to 30 is half of hypotenuse and side opposite to 60 becomes root 3 upon 2 times the hypotenuse. So if we have observed such a relation, we can say that the triangle is of 30, 60, 90 type. So angle MRO is going to be 30 and MRO and ORN Okay, so this angle will also be 30 degrees. So how will you find out MRN? You can add these two angles, 30 plus 30, that gives you 60 degrees. So children, we have studied about basic concepts of circle. Right? We have tried learning more about different theorems based on circle. So I hope you will practice all these things which we have learned so far so that we can continue in the next session. Okay, so keep practicing and learn more and more. Thank you so much.